If you just pulled your orchid out of its pot and found mushy, brown, or hollow roots, don't panic, and don't throw it in the trash yet. Root rot looks like a death sentence, but most orchids can bounce back from it if you catch it in time and treat it the right way. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to check how bad the damage really is, and a simple method using two things you probably already have in your kitchen that can help stop the rot and encourage new roots to grow. Stick around, because the way you handle the next 24 hours can decide whether this orchid lives or dies. Root rot is one of the most common reasons orchids die, and it's usually not the flowers or the leaves that give it away first. It's what's happening underground, hidden inside the pot. A lot of growers water on a schedule without ever checking what the roots actually look like, and by the time the leaves start turning yellow or wrinkly, the damage has already been building for weeks. The good news is that orchids are tougher than they look. Even a plant with just 1 or 2 healthy roots left can recover as long as you remove the damaged parts and give the plant the right conditions to regrow. In this video, I'll walk you through how to identify real root rot, how to treat it using a simple hydrogen peroxide and cinnamon method, and what to do afterwards so the roots that regrow actually stay healthy this time. Here's why root rot happens in the first place. Orchid roots need to breathe. In the wild, most orchids grow on trees, with their roots exposed to air, rain, and quick-drying bark. When we pot them at home, especially in mixes that hold too much moisture, or in pots without enough drainage, the roots can end up sitting in water for far too long. Without enough oxygen, the roots start to suffocate, and that's when rot-causing fungi and bacteria move in. Overwatering is the #1 cause, but poor air circulation, old broken-down potting medium, and pots that are too large for the root system all make it worse. Healthy orchid roots should look plump and silvery green when dry, and bright green when wet. Rotting roots look brown or black, feel mushy, and when you gently squeeze them, the outer layer slides right off, leaving behind a thin, stringy inner core. If you're seeing that, this method is for you. What you need: a pair of clean scissors or pruning shears, rubbing alcohol to sterilize your tools, 3% hydrogen peroxide, the kind from any pharmacy, ground cinnamon powder, plain, no additives, a bowl of room temperature water, paper towels, a clear pot or clean plastic pot with drainage holes, fresh orchid bark mix or sphagnum moss. Step 1. Start by removing the orchid from its pot. Gently shake off the old potting mix, and if it's stuck, soak the root ball in water for a few minutes to loosen it. Once the roots are exposed, rinse them under lukewarm water so you can see them clearly. This is the moment of truth. You need to actually see every root before you can decide what stays and what goes. Step 2. Sterilize your scissors with rubbing alcohol before you touch a single root. This step matters more than people think because cutting a healthy root with contaminated tools can spread the same fungus or bacteria that caused the rot in the first place. Wipe the blades thoroughly and let them air dry for a few seconds. Step 3. Now go root by root. Gently squeeze each one between your fingers. If it's firm and springs back, it's healthy. Leave it alone. If it's mushy, hollow, or the outer skin slides off like a sock, trim it back to the healthy tissue, cutting a little bit into the firm green or white part just to be safe. Don't be afraid to cut more than you think you need to. Leaving even a small section of rotten root behind can let the rot creep back into the roots you just saved. But here's the part most people skip, and it's the part that actually makes the difference. Step 4. Once all the rotten roots are trimmed, mix 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide with 1 part water in a small bowl. Dip the cut ends on the remaining root system into this solution for about 10 to 15 seconds. You'll likely see it fizz slightly on any leftover damaged tissue. That's the peroxide breaking down organic debris and killing off fungal spores on the surface. It shouldn't fizz on completely healthy tissue. This step disinfects the wounds before they're exposed to a new potting medium, which lowers the chance of the rot coming right back. Step 5. After the peroxide dip, let the roots air dry for about 10 minutes on a clean paper towel. Then, lightly dust the cut ends with plain ground cinnamon. Cinnamon has natural antifungal properties, and it acts like a protective seal over the fresh cuts while they callus over. You only need a light dusting, just enough to lightly coat the wound, not a thick layer. Step 6. Let the whole root system sit out, uncovered for several hours or even overnight if you can. This might feel like wasted time, but it's not. This drying period lets the cuts seal properly. Repotting a wet, freshly cut root system straight into moist medium is one of the fastest ways to invite the rot right back in. If you water too soon, you risk undoing everything you just did. Be patient. An orchid can safely go without water for a week or more. It cannot safely go through another round of root rot. In the first week or two after this treatment, don't expect visible new growth yet. The orchid is focused on healing and stabilizing. What you're watching for is that the plant stops declining. The leaves should stop wrinkling further, and the remaining healthy roots should stay firm. Around the 3 to 6 week mark, if conditions are right, you may start to see small green root tips emerging near the base of the plant, which is usually the first real sign of recovery. Full new root development and any new flower spikes typically take a few months, and results can vary depending on how much of the root system was lost and how the plant is cared for afterward. An orchid with even a couple of strong roots left has a real chance to fully recover with patience. Tip 1. Check your watering method, not just your schedule. Instead of watering on a fixed calendar, lift the pot. A pot that still feels heavy is still holding moisture. Orchid bark should feel nearly dry before you water again. Tip 2. Improve air circulation around the roots. A small fan on low, placed a few feet away, running for a few hours a day helps roots dry out evenly between waterings and makes it much harder for rot-causing fungi to take hold. Tip 3. Repot on a schedule, not just when there's a problem. Bark breaks down over 1 to 2 years and starts holding excess moisture against the roots as it decomposes. Refreshing the potting medium before that happens can prevent root rot before it ever starts. Root rot feels scary because you can't always see it coming, but it's rarely the end of the story for an orchid. By trimming away the damaged tissue, disinfecting the wounds with a hydrogen peroxide rinse, sealing them with cinnamon, and giving the plant time to dry and heal before watering again, you're giving your orchid a real shot at growing a whole new, healthy root system. It won't happen overnight, but with a little patience, that struggling orchid sitting on your counter right now could be full of strong new roots in a few months. If this helped you save an orchid you thought was a lost cause, subscribe for more simple, no-nonsense plant care tips, and let me know in the comments what your orchid's roots look like right now. I read every one.